Now, China may soon face sanctions over its Taiwan bid. According to media reports, the United States is now mulling options for sanctions package to deter Beijing as the diplomatic pressure from Taipei mounts. Now, upping its ante against China, Taiwan's de facto ambassador in Washington, Cao Bikim, hosted dozens of international lawmakers who back sanctions on China for aggression towards the island on Tuesday. Now, the unannounced gathering of about 60 parliamentarians from Europe, Asia and Africa was conducted at Taiwan's sweeping hilltop diplomatic mansion in Washington called Twin Oaks. The latest meet marks Taipei's effort to persuade fellow democracies to stand against China. Now, since Russia's invasion of Ukraine has heightened concerns that Beijing could attempt to take the island by force. The group, consisting of members of the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China called the IPAC, is going to gather in Washington this week. Now, the attendees are expected to sign a pledge to push their governments for adopting greater deterrence against military or other coercive actions by China against Taiwan. The draft prepared for the pledge reportedly includes vows for economic and political measures, including sanctions, and a push to increase mutual visits by lawmakers. China claims Taiwan as its own territory and has increased military interventions in the Taiwan Strait. Last month, Beijing fired missiles over the island and sailed warships across their unofficial sea frontier. After U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited the island, China labeled Pelosi's visit as a provocation. Time and again, China has vowed to control Taiwan and has not ruled out the use of force if the need arises. Meanwhile, in Washington, officials are considering options for a possible package of sanctions against China. The United States, backed by NATO allies, took a similar approach to Russia in January with the threat of unspecified sanctions. But this failed to dissuade Russian President Vladimir Putin from launching his invasion of Ukraine. The White House is reportedly focused on getting countries on the same page and is avoiding to provoke Beijing. The move comes in the backdrop of intensified calls for sanction preparation by Taiwan in recent weeks. A recent Chinese white paper, which withdrew a promise not to send troops to administrators to Taiwan, if Beijing takes control of the island, has prompted a redoubling of their efforts with Europe here. So far, EU officials have shied away from imposing tough sanctions on China as the country plays a far bigger role for the bloc's economy. Moreover, European sanctions would require all 27 member countries to agree, a condition which is often elusive. All of Europe, excluding the Vatican, has formal diplomatic relations with Beijing. However, Taiwanese and European officials have had extensive private contacts since China's military exercises began.